Hello and welcome to a very special video. Today I will be ranking the Star Wars video games. Just the ones that are on this tier maker list. This look to have all the ones that I've played and some of the ones that I don't, which is why I have a not applicable tier here as well. It's been a long time since I have made a video that had any kind of script. I'm working on Quint Part 6 right now. It's going to be a while before that comes out. And it's been a month since I did my One Piece bounty speculation video, which is way too long for me to have done, like an actual legit video. And yesterday, as I'm recording this yesterday, we finally got a full actual trailer for Star Wars Visions. I'm excited about that, and it's made me think a lot about Star Wars and what kind of Star Wars video I could do right now, and this was just the easiest, making a tier list for all the Star Wars video games. Actually, this should be A, and this should be S. And I'm going to go in whatever order they have them in. So first up, we got Angry Birds Star Wars. I'm not an Angry Birds guy. I don't think Angry Birds is like trash or whatever, but it's just not my cup of tea. It does seem to be a little random, like a little bit of RNG, but not enough to bring it to F. If it was just all straight up RNG, it would be F. But I'm going to say Angry Birds Star Wars, both of them, it's Angry Birds. It's the same as every Angry Birds game. They're going to go in D. Next we have what appears to be Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron. This was a PSP exclusive. It was the second PSP exclusive Battlefront game. The first one being Renegade Squadron. This one did not do as well as Renegade Squadron, but what it did do was have a very, very small microcosm version of what Free Radical was trying to have Star Wars Battlefront 3 be, which means this is the closest we ever came to an actual legit Star Wars Battlefront 3. And what, Free Radical, and before them, Petroglyph or Pandemic. It was Pandemic that did Battlefront. What they were trying to make Star Wars Battlefront 3. The thing is holding Elite Squadron back is that it's a PSP game. It's clunky. The maps are really, really, really small to account for the verticality of going up into space and then landing, and, has the 3 layers of combat or whatever. And the customization, which is a little, kind of, I guess. So I'm gonna have it in C tier. I don't have as many cool, fond memories of this as I do the other Battlefront games. Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds Clone Campaign. I think this was DLC for the original Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, because Galactic Battlegrounds came out in 2001, 2002, before Attack of the Clones happened. So you can play as the Wookiees, Gungans, droids, and a couple other sides. It's very typical RTS stuff from the time. It's literally just Warcraft with a Star Wars coat of paint. I do think that adding the clones helped a lot, but not enough to bring the game out of C tier. And I'm gonna go in order so I don't get lost or whatever. But yeah, Galactic Battlegrounds will also be in C tier whenever I get to that. Jedi Fallen Order. I've streamed this game in its entirety. I've talked about it a lot. I really dug it. It is a little of the time. It does take a lot of cues from Uncharted, and a lot of people say Dark Souls, but it's honestly more Sekiro. even though this and Sekiro came out around the same time, so it couldn't have been like direct inspiration. They just kind of fell on the same like wavelength, I think. It does have a pretty cool story though, which I think is what's gonna elevate this above B and into A tier. Because gameplay wise, it's probably B tier, but I do think the story, the performances, how it treats Darth Vader, the Empire, the Sith in general, and the Force as well. I like that kind of explore some of the more new age, mental, emotional stuff with the Force rather than just having it be some superpowers, which a lot of these games are guilty of. Next is Star Wars Dark Forces. This is a straight up Doom clone. Because it's a pretty bad Doom clone. Like, I get that it led to things that are way, way superior, but on its own, Dark Forces is really kind of mediocre. I'm gonna put it in D tier. I'm sorry, it's just Doom with stormtroopers instead of demons, and stormtroopers are much less interesting than the demons in Doom. Next is Star Wars Demolition. I remember seeing trailers for this. I never actually played it though. It's a pretty cool concept though. You get to play as like either an ATST or like the droid speeder thing or a Rancor and just blow stuff up. Star Wars Flight of the Falcon, Game Boy Advance game. I never had a Game Boy Advance. I never played this, so it's going non-applicable. Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. Oh boy, where am I gonna put this? It is not good. I will say that. It's very pretty. It looks really good, but it's super short, and the story is really dumb. Especially when compared to the first game. Like, the first game, they fixed what wasn't broken and broke what was already fixed. Because the first game, it had fine combat, and fine graphics and all that stuff, and a really great story. And Force Unleashed 2, they were like, we're gonna, update everything, and we're gonna make the story deeper and darker and more interesting, and then it just wasn't. It's going... Ooh, there's another one I'm kind of... Because it does look really pretty. But it's just a fucking God of War clone. But it looks really pretty. Looking pretty, I guess, is the difference between F and D tier. It's official. Star Wars Jedi Academy. This is my favorite Star Wars game of all time. I think it has not the most, cool lightsaber combat. It's the combat's a little all over the place, but it's so expressive and so freeform. The story is kind of lacking, but it's also an older game, so you can kind of forgive it. It's just so much fun. I have to put it in S tier. Star Wars Jedi Arena. I don't even know what genre this is, honestly. Star Wars Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. This is the sequel to Dark Forces, but it is the one that introduces lightsaber combat, which would later lead to Jedi Academy. And it's got probably the best story out of the Jedi Knight games. Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy. It's got the best story of the three. Its lightsaber combat would get better and better with age as the series progressed. But I still think this is one of the best Star Wars experiences out there. I'm putting it in A tier. A low A tier, but A tier nonetheless. Speaking of which, I believe this is Jedi Outcast. The thing I hate about Tier Maker is that the images are so tiny. It's so hard to tell sometimes. What even is it? Second verse, the story isn't as good as Jedi Knight, and the combat isn't as good as Jedi Academy. I think I think I'm going to slide this into B tier. So next is Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles. If this is the game I think it is, it was pretty mediocre. It was a pretty mediocre Star Wars game. It was a pretty mediocre action game in general. But it was also probably the first like third-person action game to really try to recreate what the Jedi were like. Recreate using the Force and lightsabers and stuff. It came out around the same time as Dark Forces. Like I think it even predates Jedi Knight. I might be wrong on that though. It certainly predates Jedi Academy and Jedi Outcast. I remember seeing trailers for this come around like 2000, before Episode 2 came out, certainly. Didn't play it a whole lot, but I did play it enough to where I could confidently say... I can't confidently say anything, actually. It's between C and B tier. I'm going to say B tier. I'm going to be nice to it. Then this is Star Wars. Looks like on the Atari. I don't recall ever playing a Star Wars Atari game. Star Wars Connect. Just Connect in general is just so abysmal, and Star Wars Connect was such a terrible idea. Like, when the highlight of your game is a parody of a Jason Derulo song, I'm tempted to make a whole different tier just for this game. Worst Star Wars game of all time. Hands down. Knights of the Old Republic. This is a lot of people's favorite Star Wars game. It's got a really good, engaging story. It has its own morality system. It is a little dated with the gameplay a little bit. More importantly, though, it's not really my cup of tea. I'm not really an RPG guy. I'm certainly not, like, this kind of RPG guy. It doesn't have turn-based combat, but it basically has turn-based combat. It just creates the illusion of being a real-time combat game. I'm gonna have to... I'm gonna get flack for this. I gotta put it in A tier. Like, it's a really good game, and it's an absolute standout within its genre. It's just a shame that its genre kinda sucks a lot. There is a better Star Wars RPG out there in someone's head. I just don't think that game has ever been made. But the closest was Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, which I think, gameplay-wise, is a better game, but story-wise is not. The ability to go full Jedi or full Sith really just elevate this above its predecessor in my humble opinion. I'm gonna get some comments, but yeah, I actually prefer Knights of the Old Republic 2. Just a smidge, and I was already on the border here, and so if I actually do prefer Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Knights of the Old Republic 2 has to be S tier. And now we got the Lego games. They're Lego games. I don't really like them. They're kind of cute and funny, I guess. They're certainly harmless. They're just all boring, and they all suffer from the same issues. I'm gonna put the complete Saga in C tier just because it's so ambitious in scope and how everything kind of interacts in that thing. Oh, they also have Lego The Skywalker Saga on that same merit. I haven't actually played Star Wars The Skywalker Saga Lego game. So it's either gonna be in C tier along with the complete saga or in the A tier. Um, it's a Lego game, so I know what you expect. I basically know the quality of it. Just know that like I also admire the Skywalker saga for its scope and ambition, but it also has the Rise of Skywalker. So I'm gonna do it a favor and keep it in A tier, since I haven't actually played it. So that's being fair and honest. I haven't played a second of the game. Yeah, but yeah, Lego Star Wars 2, Lego Star Wars 3 the Clone Lego Star Wars 3 the Clone Wars was kind of trash too. I might actually put that in F tier. It was just yeah. Lego Star Wars Force Awakens and the original Lego Star Wars video game. And I'll go ahead and put Clone Wars in D tier, even though I think it's the worst of the Lego games. Not by much though. Yeah. Star Wars Masters of Takashi 69. This game is just so fucking clunky. It is a Star Wars fighter, in the same vein of like Soul Calibur, I guess, but it's unfinished. It's ugly. It's unfinished. It plays like ass. And yeah, and it was also made in a time where they hadn't really developed the Jedi or the Sith, so you get like Gamorrean Guard as a playable character and stuff. Star Wars Monopoly. I have played Star Wars Monopoly. I have not played the video game version of it, but it's Monopoly. Monopoly, I'd say, is a C tier game overall. And Star Wars Monopoly is it's a really cool concept. It's a really fun concept. I dig it. Jedi Knight Mysteries of the Sith. This must be DLC. But it's DLC I haven't ever played. Star Wars The New Droid Army. I think this is one that I have actually played. I know I said I never had a Game Boy Advance. I never had a Game Boy Advance. But I had a friend who did. I do remember playing a game where you play as Anakin Skywalker on the Game Boy Advance. I think this is it. And if it is, it was garbage. Yeah. It's probably better off if I didn't think I played it, because it might actually be better, but just from my memories of playing it one time almost 20 years ago, I did not have fun. Star Wars Rebel Assault, not really familiar. Star Wars Rogue Leader, and Rogue Squadron. These are Star Fox clones with Star Wars, but they're really good. Like, Star Fox is a really good franchise, and Star Wars, slides right into that mold. Really nice, really nice. So I'm gonna put both Rogue Squadron and Rogue Leader in B tier, as well as not Star Fox inspired Starfighter. Actually, the first Star Wars Starfighter is kind of lacking in some areas. It's really unfair. It's kind of clunky. And I'm saying that in comparison to its sequel, Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. Star Wars Jedi Starfighter is a much superior game, and I would put that in the same tier as Rogue Leader and Rogue Squadron. I would not put the original Starfighter on that same level. Uh, Empire at War and Empire at War Forces of Corruption. It's DLC. I have played this so much. I have well over 100 hours logged in between these two games on Steam, and that's not including the straight weekends I would stay up in middle school grinding out in Galactic Conquest. I think it is the perfect Star Wars strategy game. I think that its version of Galactic Conquest should be a prerequisite for any Star Wars strategy game and any Star Wars like campaign, honestly. Like just that layout, any exploration game as well should have something like Galactic Conquest as it is in these games. So I'm going to put because they are kind of clunky as well. They have some pathfinding issues. They're not well balanced, especially Forces of Corruption. So even though they are together in my top 10 favorite Star Wars games, they don't have enough like kick to them for me to put them in S tier the way I did Jedi Academy and Knights of the Old Republic 2. They're much more on par with like Knights of the Old Republic. I think would be they're like on par with the first game. So especially Forces of Corruption is especially unbalanced because you get the Canderous assault tanks, and if you have to go up against the Canderous assault tanks, you just might as well quit because they are completely broken. You can straight up, so long as you're playing on like easy or medium difficulty, you can straight up conquer an entire Galactic Conquest run with just a couple Grenadiers, a couple Canderous assault tanks, and Tiberzon. And for space battles, get a couple like Skip Ray blast boats and the Interceptor 4s. As well as some of the Corvette class cruiser that they have. Crusader, I think is what it's called. Anyway. Star Wars Republic Commando. I am going to get some... I have actually been playing this game on PS4. I recently got it. I have not been enjoying it very much. It is also very much of the time first-person shooter. It is very much Halo. And maybe on easy mode, it fulfills its promise a lot better than on medium. But you're supposed to be playing as like this badass clone trooper commando leader, and it takes you like 5 shots to kill the weakest version of the battle droids. And it also just doesn't look like Star Wars. Like, I almost wonder how much Star Wars the art director for this game saw. Like, all the battle droids are gray for inexplicable reasons. The Trandoshans don't look like Trandoshans. The Super Battle Droids don't really look like the Super Battle Droids. The Geonosians really do not look like Geonosians. I'm going to put it in C tier because on easy mode it is a much better experience, but I think it is the most overrated Star Wars game, hands down. Star Wars Super Return of the Jedi. I think this game is rated pretty fairly amongst the community. It is the best of the Super Star Wars games, but it is hard to the point of not being fun, as it was common for... Actually, is this even what I think it is? I don't know. I'm gonna hold off on... Actually, can I zoom in? Can I zoom in on this more? You better look at that cover. Return of the Jedi Death Star Battle for the Spectrum. I have not played this. I saw like the Super Famicom colors and thought that this was the Super Nintendo game, but it is not. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, I don't think I ever played. I don't recall playing. Yes, there are a lot of Star Wars games I have not played, believe it or not. Star Wars The Clone Wars, Jedi Alliance. Yeah, this game was pretty abysmal. Pretty abysmal controlled. I think this was on the Wii, and it really just... Oh, yeah, this one as well. And this one. All the Clone Wars games are just trash. I don't know why. I don't know why all the Clone Wars games ended up being trash, but they are. Except for Star Wars The Clone Wars video game, which is just kind of meh. Pretty cool. I do actually want to replay Star Wars The Clone Wars. This game. I do have fond memories of, doing some of those missions. Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. This is the one that's like, where you just play as Snowspeeder and it's infinite AT-ATs and you just gotta get a high score, right? Yeah, I'm not a fan of games like that from that era. Star Wars The Old Republic, the MMORPG. I haven't played this enough to really make an accurate assessment of it. I have played it. It kind of ran like crap on my old PC, and I haven't ever loaded it up on this new computer. The cinematics are like S tier, but the gameplay is like C tier. And it does have all the same MMORPG problems with like the perpetual status quo and how like they have to keep the story from going forward, but they also want to have your character go through like an arc or whatever. And it's like, oh yes, you are the chosen one. You and all several thousand of the other player characters who are going through the same exact missions as you. I really don't like that about MMORPGs. Stuff like what's the Justice League? DC Universe Online. DC Universe Online, I think, does it the best, and that would be like a B tier. Old Republic does not do it as well. It doesn't handle the constraints of the genre as well as DC Universe Online, so I'm going to put it in C tier. Star Wars X-Wing Alliance. This is the best of the Star Wars space sim games. This is another one I'm contemplating putting it in S tier. So good, but it is kind of like archaic. It's a game that I would love, like a full-on reboot. Like, I know we got Star Wars Squadrons recently, but I haven't actually played that yet. It's one I want to get sometime in the not-too-distant future when I have time to play video games. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and slide it into A tier. Knights of the Old Republic will be like my gatekeeper for the S tier. Like, A tier are games that I just love and think are great, but if I don't like you more than Knights of the Old Republic, you're not getting into S tier, and I don't think I like X-Wing Alliance more than Knights of the Old Republic. Star Wars Yoda Stories, I don't know what that is. I know who Yoda is, but that straight up looks like some Discworld stuff. And this looks like Fortnite, so I have no idea what that's about. Doesn't that art style look like Fortnite? I gotta zoom in again. So if this is actually Fortnite, I'm gonna laugh. If this is that Fortnite, I can't tell. I can't tell what it says up here. I can't read that. Let me know if it actually is Fortnite, though. That would be amazing. Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron. I kind of already talked about this with Elite Squadron. I had a lot of fun with this game. I got a PSP just to play this game. I had the White Darth Vader PSP for a very long time that came with this. It's Star Wars Battlefront, but remove the class-based combat, add customization, add some cool heroes and planets and other mechanics and stuff, like IG-88, Solace is in the game. I think you could play as Asajj Ventress as one of the hero characters for the CIS, which would make her first time as a playable character, I believe. It's a lot of fun, and the story mode's kind of cool too. You play as a member of Renegade Squadron, this elite group led by Han Solo, and now Renegade Squadron is stuck on my screen. Okay, I fixed it. Star Wars EA Battlefront. This game looks so good and is so gorgeous and beautiful and plays pretty cool, actually. It's really fun to play, or at least it was when I played it. Its main problem is that it's just lacking content. Like, it lacks anything from the prequel trilogy, it lacks anything from the sequel trilogy other than, like, Jakku as a map. It's lacking several game modes that were in the other Battlefront games. You only have 3 playable hero characters for each side. So you got Vader, Palpatine, and Boba Fett versus Luke, Han, and Leia. It's just beyond bare bones. They really threw this together as quickly as they could in order to snipe the release date of Force Awakens. And they put all of their effort into the aesthetics, like really nailing the Star Wars look and sound. And for that, I'm going to put it in D tier. Like I said with Force Unleashed 2, looking like Star Wars and feeling like Star Wars is going to get you out of F tier, at least. I know a lot of people are going to be upset that it's not an F tier, but I don't think it deserves it. I think if it had those game modes and had more single-player content and had more characters and had stuff from the prequel trilogy, it would be a lot higher. Spoiler for Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. I'm gonna do these at the same time because they're ostensibly the same game. They were made a year apart. Battlefront 2 got rid of some of my favorite maps, sadly, like Tatooine Dune Sea and Cloud City and Bespin platforms. But it added in playing as heroes and villains from the movies, the sprint mode, the other class of characters for each side, the Imperial Guard, Magna Guard, or the Imperial Officer. Well, I can't talk today. Imperial Officer, Magna Guard, Clone Commander, and the Bothan Spy. I think with those additions, Star Wars Battlefront 2 is going to get into, again, I'm going to go ahead and put it in S tier, but with the stipulation that Battlefront has some terrible AI. And that's what's going to hold it back if I ever do like an overall video game ranking list or anything. This is a ranking list as far as Star Wars is concerned. With Jedi Academy at the top and like Star Wars Connect at the bottom. The AI in these games is terrible, and the AI terribleness actually becomes a lot more prevalent with mods, because you find out that the AI is really hardwired to certain maps, and so you take that AI and try to like build these custom maps and just drop the AI into them. they will literally, like, just run into, like, they have no self-preservation, and they have no, like, knowledge of where they are at any given time. So, Battlefront 1, A tier, Battlefront 2, S tier, but they are very flawed games, especially in the AI department. Star Wars Bounty Hunter. Really cool concept for a game, but it plays like ass. And it doesn't even look that cool either. Like, it's actually arguably F tier in some regards. It plays like complete dog shit. Star Wars Chess. What? The software tool works. Star Wars Chess. I'm going to go ahead and put that in A tier, because if it's just regular chess, sure, whatever, Electronic Child, put it in, same as Angry Birds, you know, but if it's more than that, whatever. Never even heard of Star Wars Droid Works. Star Wars, whatever this game is. I think this is actually the game that I played. I don't know if I played the new Droid Army. I think this is, because this cover looks more familiar to me. Still played like garbage, though. There are 2 Attack of the Clones based Game Boy Advance games with Anakin on the cover. Oh my god, I just noticed that Wat Tambor is on this cover too. Like he's an important character or something. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This is another game. It's really clunky, but I think it has some of the best lightsaber combat in any Star Wars game. And it does have that one mission where you get to kill a bunch of Jedi as Anakin. But it's also kind of obnoxious with the voice work and the audio design. And some of the side missions are garbage, but I'm not holding that against it. I think it's B tier. It's actually a pretty solid, underrated game, but it could be so much better. Star Wars Episode 1, Obi-Wan Adventure. This is the Game Boy Advance version of this game that I do remember, and never played it. Star Wars Force Commander. I don't recall ever playing that. Star Wars Galaxies and a DLC for Star Wars Galaxies. I don't know if I ever played DLC for it or not. I don't have very many memories of playing Star Wars Galaxy. It was a really cool, dynamic MMO though, with a lot that you can do. Like, there were people who basically took over the economy so that you could have more freedom of expression with this and not just do the same World of Warcraft type missions. I remember it lasted a very long time, and when it went away, there was like a lot of people were really sad when it finally went offline after a staggering like 15-year run, it seems. Maybe even longer. Or maybe not as long. I don't know. Again, I'm not an MMO guy. But there was something different about Star Wars Galaxies compared to your traditional MMO. Like, it felt more like a galaxy that you just lived in as whatever you wanted to be, rather than a story that you get dropped into along with 1,000 other people going through the same beats as you. Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. I already said this is going to be a rank above Star Wars Starfighter. This is a game I could actually stream because I have the PS4 re-release version. It's not the re-release, it's PS4 has a bunch of PS2 games that you can buy and download, and this is one of them that I have. It's a lot of fun. You can play as a lot of different ships. You use force powers in your ship, which gives it that little extra oomph compared to Star Wars Starfighter. And, yeah, it also has a pretty decent story, I guess, for what it is. It takes a lot after Ace Combat. Now, if Rogue Squadron takes after Star Fox, Starfighter, and Jedi Starfighter take after Ace Combat. And Ace Combat is also just a very good game. Star Wars Obi-Wan. This is another one that's a lot like Jedi Power Battles. One of the first games where it really explored the potential of Jedi. Like, I just noticed that this is actually Mace Windu, and he has, like, a blue lightsaber. So this was before Attack of the Clones. I think this came out around the same time as Attack of the Clones, maybe a little bit after. I remember playing it around, like, 2005-ish. But it probably came out, like, a year or two before that, because I remember seeing trailers for it as early as, like, 2002. But yeah, you play as Obi-Wan through, certain events, primarily episode 1, I think. The events of that. I think Darth Maul is the final boss. Or at least he was the one I never got past when I was playing it. Star Wars Racer Revenge. This is another one that I have, and it's a pretty solid racing game. It's a pod racer. There's not much you could expect from racing games at this point, but this is a cool, unique version of that, and it's also very difficult. Star Wars Rebellion, I don't know what that is. Star Wars Rebel Strike, I have heard of that. I don't think I ever played it, though. I think it was like an add-on or something for Rogue Squadron. Star Wars Squadrons. From what I have seen, I would put it in B tier. But what I have seen and what I have actually experienced are, non-existent. Super Bombad Racing. If Star Wars Racer Revenge is a very competent, well-made, cool racing game, this is an absolute trash-fire joke. One of the worst racing games I've ever played. More Wii-based Star Wars Clone Wars trash-fire garbage that just plays like ass. Star Wars Trilogy on Game Boy Advance, never played it. Star Wars Trilogy Arcade. This I actually have a lot of fond memories of on the arcade cabinets. It's limited. As an arcade game, it is very limited. Like, I think the highest I could even possibly put it is B tier, even if it was perfect. And it's not. It's clunky in spots, so I'm going to slide it into C tier. And it doesn't live up to its full potential, but even if it did live up to its full potential is still, like, A or B tier. Like, that's just, the nature of those arcade-type games. X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. Where did I have X-Wing Alliance? Because this is just as good. X-Wing versus TIE Fighter is amazing. I love Star Wars space sims. This is Super Return of the Jedi. Here's the Super Star Wars games that I thought this was, but it wasn't. They are hard as shit. I put them all on the same level. They're all really good, competent, hard as shit Super Nintendo games, and I just have no fun with them. But they are very well made. I can't really knock them. It's one of those, like, I just have to get good. I just suck at them, and I can't hold that against it. Because I'm not actually very good at video games. If anyone who has seen my Ghost of Tsushima streams would already know that, though. I'm gonna save that for last. Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. Where did I have the Galactic Battlegrounds DLC? Because this is gonna go. I think it's too competently made to be D tier. It's not as good as having it with the DLC, but the difference in quality isn't enough to change the tier. I think I said that when I was talking about the clone campaign. We're like, oh yeah, it's better, but not better enough to get out of C tier. It's just the old school Warcraft / Starcraft games, but with a Star Wars coat of paint, and not even a very deep Star Wars coat of paint. Battlefront is a Star Wars coat of paint on a different franchise. Rogue Squadron is Star Fox with the Star Wars coat of paint. This is Warcraft, but with vague sci-fi stuff that it kind of vaguely resembles Star Wars, kinda. Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace. The Adventure Begins. I don't know. X-Wing. Yeah, Star Wars X-Wing. A tier. Just like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter and X-Wing Alliance is just so good. And same thing with TIE Fighter. Star Wars TIE Fighter. I said X-Wing Alliance is the best. TIE Fighter is the second best of that batch. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Again, it's a very competent racing game. This one was on N64. Racer Revenge was the sequel. And I do think the sequel is better mechanically. But, again, we kind of had racing games pretty nailed by the time the N64 and PS1 were around. Rebel Assault, never played it. Lethal Alliance, never played it. Okay, so we got Vader Immortal, which had its title cut off. So it was Der Ortal. It is fucking awful. VR is terrible. VR was a mistake. VR lightsaber combat doesn't work. And the story for Vader Immortal is so stupid. It might be the stupidest game. Well, no. Star Wars Connect and Super Bombad Racing still exist. And so does the Masters of Takashi 6-9. Yeah. Vader Immortal, not good. Star Wars, The Force Unleashed. Like I said with Force Unleashed 2, it got a decent story, great graphics and physics and stuff. And, decent combat, decent enough combat. The combat is what holds it from being an S tier. I do think this is, one of the more solid Star Wars video game experiences you can have. And Starkiller is not a bad character in this game. He becomes kind of insufferable in the sequel, but in this game he's fine. Star Wars Battlefront Deuce. This game got a lot of shit when it came out, and it deserves it. But it does still lack content. It still doesn't have enough to warrant the fuckery that went around with its production. It is still a pale imitation of the original Battlefront games. It actually does a lot to highlight how little the sequel trilogy changed from the original trilogy, aesthetically and stuff. with the amount of updates it has had, with the expanded cast of characters, with the expanded maps, with all the extra Clone Wars stuff, and the single-player campaign, which is ass, but it's still functional. Now, there are worse Star Wars stories out there in the video game sphere. It is on pace. If they make a Battlefront 3, if they have the base game of Battlefront 3, have all the content that Battlefront 2 has right now, it might actually make A tier. As it stands, as Battlefront 2 stands right now, as I'm recording this, it is B tier for Star Wars. And as far as B tier goes, I would have it above the Super Star Wars games. I would have it above Obi-Wan, Jedi Starfighter, Renegade Squadron, and the Rogue Squadron games, as well as maybe Jedi Power Battles. I see a lot of people still giving this game flack for the failures of its launch and the loot box fiasco, but EA and more notably DICE, they listened, they added the stuff that fans wanted, and I think it is a very fine, expansive, really cool Star Wars multiplayer shooter game. And multiplayer shooters aren't really my cup of tea. But I do think Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a good game. And I know that's not a popular opinion, which is why I was saving it for last, because I knew that this would ruffle some jammies. I think it looks amazing, it sounds amazing, the gameplay is good, and unlike its predecessor, EA's first foray into Battlefront, it actually has content. It actually has things to do other than waiting for matches to start. So that's my Star Wars tier list. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22 and a half games I have not actually touched. I say half for Squadrons because I have seen people play it. I haven't played it myself. Vader Immortal, I've seen the entire thing. So I'm going to count that as a half too, even though my experience with it is very limited. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a half F tier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 D tier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 C tier. I think that makes 12 B tier. 3 S tier, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 A tier. And a lot of these are DLC, like these two go together. These two go together. A lot of these were kind of mods and additions of each other, but sold as separate games. So yeah, that is my Star Wars tier list. What's your Star Wars tier list? I will leave a link to this template in the description below, and feel free to send them to me on Discord or Twitter if you feel so inclined, because I'm curious. Again, like, my video game experience is kind of limited. Only about half of these games I have actually beaten. A lot of them I just have like fragmentary memories of, or I'm in the middle playing them, like Republic Commando. And this list is subject to change as I revisit some of these games. But yeah, let me know. I'm Mediocrity4. Thanks for watching.